What's up, Broadway peeps? Sammy Lights coming at you with another video. In today's video, welcome to Grant's Info Stop.
You want to learn about anything Apple? Then come on down to Grant's Info Stop. Get the 411 on iPods and iPhones and iPads. Get to talk on all new items like MacBooks and AirPods and pencils and cases. You can get information on anything starting with an I. You can one click or two click or even three. Snap a pic and say whoopee.
In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the new M1 MacBook Pro. This is Apple's new 13-inch laptop that comes with the M1 processor inside. The processor is fast, it is quick, and it is easy to use. So let me go to the back and I'm going to go get the MacBook. I'll be right back. So this is the box that the M1 MacBook Pro 13-inch comes inside. It has a really sleek and simple design that Apple has every single time they have a new product out. And right here is the new M1 MacBook Pro 13-inch. I'm going to give you 4 tips today about this laptop, and I hope you enjoy them. Let's get straight on into the tips. So for my first tip and trick, it is to download the new Rosetta software on your MacBook Pro. You can do this on any of the MacBook M1 line, but what this enables you to do is download any Intel-based apps or games onto your computer. When Apple transitioned over to their Apple Silicon from the Intel-based processors, it took out the programming for many different apps and games. So right now, what Apple is allowing you to do is download this free software onto your computer, and it's made by Apple, and it encodes the apps that you were wanting to download, and it enables you to download those apps or games onto your computer. So let me show you how you can do this. So if you go to any app, so I'm going to download the new Imaging Edge software from Sony, so you can control or edit or do other things for your camera. Let's type in Imaging Edge for Sony. You can go to their website, and if any of you are out there that have the Sony cameras, you can also do this as well. So you can go down here and scroll down to desktop applications. You can download the Mac software and you can download it onto your computer. So right up here, you can see that I have about 45 seconds to download, and I will be right back once it downloads. So while my thing is downloading, you can see that this is a remote for your camera. You can also view raw images and apply batched edits onto that picture. And then also you can edit high quality raw footage. All right, so my software is downloaded. I can click on that. You can go down to your downloads. You can double click. Okay, so right now it popped up that I need to install the Rosetta software. What you can do is you can press install software, and it is installed. All right, so now you can double click it again. This package will run a program to determine if the software can be installed. All right, so it is successfully installed. You can press close, and sure, you can move it to your trash because you will not be needing this any longer. So now if you go up to your launch pad, you will notice that you have now installed the Imaging Edge software. So let me talk a brief moment about this software. Some of you might not feel comfortable right now using this Rosetta software since it is new by Apple, but what you can do is you can still buy the Intel-based MacBooks off of Apple's website. Apple wants you to still be able to use all the programs as smooth as possible. So apps like Adobe, you can still use those apps with the Intel-based MacBooks. They want to be open to everyone, and right now, since these M1 MacBooks are new and it is having to run this Rosetta software, it might not run as smoothly as you want with those softwares. If you really need to right this moment, you can still buy the Intel-based MacBooks, and they are still perfectly fine. And the 13-inch MacBook with the Intel-based processor, it came out like last spring. So it is up to date and it is new and it is amazing. If you are using an app by Apple like Final Cut Pro or Motion or any other app by Apple, then you don't have to download this Rosetta software. Those apps are up to date for these M1 MacBooks. Over the course of a few months, other apps and developers are going to be creating apps for the M1 based MacBooks. If you can wait, you could wait and get a MacBook later on when more developers come out with an app that is up to date with the M1 system. So for my second tip and trick, you can change what is on your menu bar. The menu bar is up here at the top of your screen, and there will be this little icon right here and right here, and this is for the screen recording, and this is for the new Imaging Edge software I downloaded on my computer a few minutes ago. But these will not be here when you open up your MacBook for the first time. But if you notice, there are all these different options that you have right here. All these will not be here when you open your MacBook, but right now I've customized mine to this. So if you want to copy mine, you can also do that. But if you open up your control center, you will notice all these different options. Allowed you to do is you can click and drag into the menu bar. You can add it to anywhere that you would like, and you can still use this the same as if you had it in your control center. So right then you can click on the do not disturb, and it is the same as if it's right here. But Apple wanted to enable everyone to have something that has a better experience for the user. And with having a customized menu bar, you can have it to what you would like, so you do not always have to go into the control center. But what you can also do, if you do not like that icon right there, you can remove it by the command key and clicking and dragging away. So for my third tip, it is that you can add any iPad or iPhone apps onto your computer. All you have to do is go down here to the App Store, go over to your name, and you can scroll down a little bit. Right here, you will notice iPad and iPhone apps. You can click that button, and now you can see all the different apps that I have downloaded on my phone or my iPad. And all you have to do is, if I want to download LumaFusion, and right here you see that you can download it. But if you notice in the fine print, it says designed for iPad. And even though it is designed for iPad, you can still use it. The only downside for using iPhone and iPad apps is that the developer has not created their app for the M1 MacBook. So when you download the app, it will not fit to the screen. If you have downloaded an iPhone app, it will not look anything the same on the computer, and it will be a little hard to use. But down the road, these developers will create their apps for the M1 MacBook, possibly. But at the same time, if you really need to use an app from your iPhone or iPad, you can always do this, and it is super easy to do. So for my fourth and final tip and trick, it is to show you how fast this machine can work in Final Cut Pro X. So I wanted to start this new project for my M1 MacBook video that you are watching right now, and I wanted to demonstrate how good this system is. With the M1 MacBook Pro and its new processor, it opens up the computer and other apps super fast. So I'm going to create a new library, and I'm going to add this to my drive. And what you want to do is make sure you press the button Leave Files in Place instead of clicking Copy to M1 MacBook Pro, or that's just where my files are going to be located. So make sure you have leave files in place, and it doesn't really matter what you click for any of these. And right now, what my video is doing is rendering out some background tasks since I added these videos into the library. I go to Preferences under Final Cut Pro and go to Playback. And right here where it says Background Render, I just click and I just created this as 0.1 instead of the 0.3, which is there when you first open up this application. So right now the background tasks are finished and I can create a new project and label it whatever I would like. Make sure it is under the same event right here, and I'm just going to have all these different settings. And if you just want to use automatic settings for what video you add into the timeline first, it will take that video settings and add that to the project, and that will be the project set. So if you have a 120 frame video that you added for B-roll, but you added that first and had use automatic settings selected, then your timeline is going to be a 120 frame timeline. And if you were exporting that, you will wonder why it takes so long to export, and also the project will be really large if you have other normal A-roll videos that are 24 frames per second. So I can click OK, and I created a new project. I can add these videos to the timeline, and it is super quick and snappy. So if I wanted to add a color grade to this video, I can go over here to color corrections, and I'm going to do a simple color correction on this video. So right now I have this color correction on the video, and right up here it is rendering out that. So after a 0.1 second of you stopping what you're doing, it will start the background render. And if I wanted to add on some extra effects, I could do that as well, and that will also be really quick and snappy. But I'm going to Command Z and take that away. So I wanted to give you a few facts about the M1 MacBook Pro using Final Cut Pro X. Final Cut Pro X on the M1 MacBook can run an 8K timeline. 8K timeline? That is crazy. So after some articles have been written about the M1 MacBook Pro, they are comparing it to the Mac Pro that cost around $50,000. That is crazy. For a $1,200 computer being compared to a $50,000 computer by the same company, that is crazy. Even though the Mac Pro is using an Intel-based system, Apple is using their own silicon, so that is the reason why they are being compared, since they are running about the same. On the other hand, the Mac Pro that costs $50,000 is incredible. I do not have it, but I do know that there are some people that do have it and are still in love with that. Even though the MacBook Pro is being compared to it, it will still not beat the Mac Pro in some terms. So for my final fact about the M1 MacBook Pro is that it's going to be faster than your other Intel-based MacBooks. Since Apple created their Apple Silicon, it's going to outrun the Intel-based system. Don't let this draw you away from the Intel system, since it is still incredible. Apple is creating better and newer technology that is going to work with their newer line of computers. But Apple is trying to level up their ecosystem so that it works best for their computers, and so they can also make their computers run how they want them to. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you have learned so many new tips and tricks about the M1 MacBook Pro. This is an incredible computer, and I would totally recommend it if you were looking for a new computer on the market. Even though this computer has a few flaws, you can still buy the Intel-based system on Apple's website. But if you want to future-proof yourself, you should probably go ahead and buy the M1 MacBook Pro. Apple did an incredible job at creating their new Apple Silicon line of Macs, and I want to give props to them on creating an amazing computer. So if you enjoyed this video, then click right here to watch another video just like this, and click right here to watch another one of my awesome videos. And have you subscribed yet? Then click right here and don't forget to ring that bell so you can be notified every time I make a new video. Thanks for stopping in.